I'm joined today by a good friend of mine, special guest on the phone line, Indianapolis Tindley head coach Omar Dillard. Coach Dillard, what's going on, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How are you? Thanks for having me on, man. Always good to talk to you.
You're always so good to me. I really appreciate it. If I get that shirt, though, large, and I got you one of them Tindley shirts, man. I've been asking about it before y'all went on that winning streak. So let's get that out there right now for everybody. All right, man. Like I said, you're in your second year.
Yep.
You've got quite a history with basketball. We'll get to that in a second. But, second year, and you got it rolling, Coach. You're 5-2. I know you woke up this morning looking for the bombhoops.com 1A rankings that came out.
I did.
You're 3. I got you at 3.
Yep.
I'm not sure that you can't beat 1 and 2. I mean, 1 and 2 are tough, and people say Couts, Bar Eve, they're a bunch of Amish, but both of those teams can play. But from what I've seen you play twice. Impressive come from behind win at Noblesville to start the year.
Thank you.
You're 5-2, and you've really caught the attention of some people. So, just kind of talk a little bit about the start of the season. COVID obviously has dominated things. How has that impacted your season? Where are you guys at Tindley?
Great questions. Obviously, we've been blessed, been fortunate to not be overly impacted. We have had some certain kids out at times due to COVID, and so we've had to quarantine them. Luckily, we didn't practice the day or days before they actually were around someone, and they actually did not have it, but we had to wait till test results came back and all that kind of stuff. But certainly been fortunate there. As far as the season, we've had a lot of challenges, I would say, just with besides the COVID, we've had some challenges with a few players academically. So we have missed a couple of kids that potentially could be starters, and we're getting those kids back. So we're really excited about that. And we wanted to raise the level of play this year. We had a tough schedule. I asked for some games last year when I first got the job, and we got them. Ben Davis and Ellen, those guys were gracious enough to play us, and so we've got them back on the schedule. We've added LC. Noblesville was one of those schools that agreed to play us, and we just want to try to play at a high level. It really doesn't matter what class to me. We just want to play basketball, and we want to help kids play at the highest levels that they can, and play in college. Many of our kids want to play in college, so playing against really good competition is part of that. But certainly, I always like looking at the rankings, and, I would never say anything about, hey, you got us ranked here, ranked there. Our goal is to try to be ranked at the top when it kind of matters, at the end of the season. So that's certainly our goal. But man, those guys, I know Kurt, I've watched Kurt Hop play since he was a freshman, and he can play, and those guys are really good at Bar Reeve. Great program. Don't know as much about Couch, but I'll be watching film on them real soon. So
shooters, they all can shoot.
Yeah.
They can all shoot. Yeah, no, they can all shoot.
But,
so it's gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
We got 2 months left, Coach, and it's crazy to think that we, it's like I want to say 63 days from today we're going to have the sectional draw, and there's going to be a lot that's going to happen in 63 days because
absolutely.
There's a lot of teams that haven't played. You've got 7 games in, so you got to feel like you're a little ahead of the curve here.
Yep.
You're about to get some guys back, but let's talk. Well, first, for anybody that doesn't know, we're talking to a little bit of basketball royalty here. I mean, how many coaches have had Eric Hunter and Aaron Henry on the same team, and then obviously your son, Kobe Dillard, but I mean, Eric Hunter and Aaron Henry. I'm sorry, all these names run together.
Yeah.
Aaron Henry and Eric Hunter are, man, that had to be a lot of fun to coach.
Definitely. Yeah. It was interesting. I mean, because when they were younger, we never ever would have projected that they would have had, the high school careers and now college careers that
right?
they had.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I started coaching Eric and Aaron both in the 4th grade. So the two of them and my son, and there was one other kid that played at Tindley as well. His name was Chris Murph. But those guys played together from fourth grade all the way through 17U. And so they all grew up as just one of the guys, and the parents, were great. And no one ever thought that, they were better than anybody. I mean, because they were like brothers, and they kind of grew into like being like nephews of mine almost. But very humble kids, very unselfish kids. And I think that's the way they play even to this day in college.
Let me ask you a question. For anybody out there that's wondering, how do you get to that level, right? Big Ten. Yeah, a lot of it's luck, right? But you have to be elite at a lot of things. You have to be elite at your skills. But you got to be elite at your work ethic. You got to be elite in your character. You got to be elite in your grades, right, to get to that level, because coaches aren't going to put up with that stuff. What kinds of things, similarities between those two, or is there anything that you can pass along to someone and say, this is what both of them had, this is what you've got to have to make it?
I think high character, which really started with their parents. Both of those kids are very high character guys that they're very conscious, and they want to be good people. And I think that's a big thing. So that carries over to your academics. That carries over to your teammates wanting to play with you. Guys want to play with them because, they're not going to go against they're going to take shots that are available to them, but at the same time, they're going to always find open teammates. They're always going to encourage, they'll rebound. I always laugh about, Aaron Henry was, he's about 6'6", but I could play him at the 5, I could play him at the 1. And so his dad and I used to laugh. I'd say he's playing the 6 because he could play 1 through 5. And, sometimes his dad would tell me, put him on the block. Oh, and what parent anymore of a 6'6" kid is telling a coach to put him on the block? Well, what that meant is that Aaron just developed his entire game. I mean, he's got even now, he's got one of the best post games. You don't see it as much because they've got 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot at Michigan State, but
he could still go inside. Izzo could still use him.
He's versatile. He could guard wherever, and he could play anywhere. And I just think that, just wanting a kid to get better, and the kid just wanting to improve their entire game is such a big contributor to why those guys are as successful as they are.
Yeah, I've coached a few years of my life at the JV and freshman level. And I always liked working with those kids because, at the JV level, a lot of times you get some talent. Maybe you get some kids that their grades aren't that great, or their behavior is not that great, whatever, but you get some talent. You can get some talent.
Absolutely.
And it was one of those things I really like to work with those kids, because I would always tell them, I would say, are you competitive? Well, yeah, I mean, I'll fight you for this. We played one-on-one, then why don't you approach your grades or everything else in life? Compete. And so I think, being a competitive person, doing whatever it takes to win, whether that's going on the block or handling the ball.
Absolutely.
To me, that sticks out when I see a lot of kids. So, hey, I got to ask you, I got you here, and you can take the 5th if you want to take the 5th, but I got to ask you, how close was Indiana to landing Aaron Henry?
Very close, actually. I mean, just Aaron loved, everything about, what they were, and especially Schilling is a guy from, that trained kids for years in Indianapolis. And so he was instrumental, as well as Archie, but very close to landing him. He was really close. And I was just always like, hey, man, just hear these gentlemen out, hear all these coaches out, because, they're all, I mean, obviously Izzo, we all know what Izzo is. Chris Holtman, was one of the last guys involved as well. But Archie Miller, respect what he's doing at IU. Indiana was very close, but it just, I think he felt more of a family feel. And, Gary Harris was our sponsor of our AAU program. And so there was a just a relationship there that was a little more like family, you know what I mean? And so that may have influenced it, but they were.
I don't mean to put you in an uncomfortable position. I know, but there's Indiana fans out there that
absolutely
they kind of feel like they're maybe a Aaron Henry or a Jack Nungy away from being really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Interesting stuff, Coach. How's Kobe Dillard, your son? You know, he went down to Jackson State, if I'm not mistaken, out of
Yep.
Cecina.
Yep.
Had a similar path to me. Things didn't work out in college. His heart kind of went another way.
Yep. Yep. Kind of
But
all of the above. I mean, just had a challenging first year. He ended up redshirting and just decided to kind of pivot and reevaluate some things. And the thing about him, I mean, he was always a point guard, so he was a leader. He could speak up. He's very well spoken. So he got involved in some organizations and started an organization called Men of Excellence and joined a fraternity and really got into his major. And so he actually just accepted an internship in IT with Cardinal Health. So he'll be doing that and making some pretty darn good money this coming summer. So that makes Dad happy as well. So
proud more than anything. You can see the
really
pride.
well.
You can see that pride on your face, Pops.
Yeah, he's doing really well. So I'm very
Great
proud of him.
job.
And that's really what this is all about. When I started coaching these guys, I had no idea these guys would, some of the few would play at such a high level in the Big Ten. We just wanted them to be great people and good men and be very successful at whatever they were doing. But, this is fun too. I love hoops. So.
When did you know that Eric Hunter could play at Purdue? Like, was there a certain point where, a tournament, an AAU tournament, I mean, I've been on teams with guys when you go, wow, that dude just got better. Like, we just saw him.
I think probably 15U. He had a few games where just what he was doing looked a little bit different. I mean, just how he could pick his spots, and he was hitting mid-range pull-up jumpers and the athleticism, and he was starting to grow. And it's just like, man, this kid is really smooth. I mean, he didn't used to play much offense at all. He was all defense. Now, of course, he's back to defense again, but I mean, he was all defense when he was younger. He was a soccer player, and he just decided he wanted to play. And I knew his parents, and but no, I mean, just I'd say probably 15U. He had a few games where it was just like, man, it looks easier for him than some of the others, and just some of the things he was doing. I was like, wow, this is pretty good.
How good of a soccer player, I wonder, could he be right now? I wonder if Purdue soccer even knows that they're sitting on like a future MLS guy,
Yeah, he still follows it. He's still, big on soccer.
That's funny. That's interesting.
Yeah. I bet he would be pretty darn good. I mean, he's fast. He was always in shape. I mean, he ran a sub 5 minute mile. He's always won in conditioning. And I mean, just when you get a kid that works that hard and loves what he's doing, you got a chance to be special, as you know. So, but no, I think he'd be a pretty darn good soccer player.
All right, so let's move on. You got a lot of talent here that I'm sure people want to hear about. So let's talk about some of your guys here at Tindley this year. I don't know where you want to start at, but I think Jashawnn Bates, senior, 6'5", small power forward. I don't know what you call him. He does a lot of stuff on the court. He had a huge game against Noblesville. Really kind of put you on his back and kind of carried you guys to that overtime victory over a 4A school. Really good talent there. Went up against Noah Harris. So let's talk a little bit about Jashawnn. What do you got? 6'5", 230?
Yep, probably 225, 230. Good frame. We probably have lost a little bit of that. Just we've been doing a lot of running, but no, he's extremely versatile. And it's kind of interesting. And I told his dad when he first came to Tindley, I said, he reminds me a lot of Aaron Henry, actually, because he shoots his jumper left-handed, but he's got all of the right-hand floater finishes, and he handles the basketball really well, and he's a good passer. So he can dribble, pass, and shoot. And, he's kind of the kid now that I think coaches really covet, who is versatile. He can guard multiple positions. And, I think now it's just a matter of him growing in consistency because he's being called upon to do that. He's been more in a supporting role, I think, prior to this season. And it's not an overnight thing. for some kids, and it's a process. But, I believe he's going to really help us down the stretch with his versatility, being able to do so many different things.
Who have you heard from with him?
I've heard from some NAIA schools, IU East, IU Southeast, IU South Bend is interested in him as well. And then a D2 out of, USI, they actually came and watched one of our open gyms. And there was a school that just contacted me out of Wisconsin, I believe NAIA school. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name, but yeah, he's had pretty much NAIA and D2 interest, and I think that could even change throughout the course of the season. But we're just in a tough time with the NCAA transfer,
Brutal,
portal and all of that. So it's a tough year on those 2021 guys.
And when you bring up a great point, because I talked to a lot of assistant coaches, head coaches. They were not going to give me time of the day, but a lot of assistant coaches are telling me, things are going to change, and secretly they're not going to pitch this to recruits, right? Or to prospects or anybody but to a man privately, they're telling me, just find a fit. These kids just need to find a fit. I mean, go 2 years, go someplace where you can play, where you can get your numbers, where you can help the team win, help the team get better. And if you want to move on, you can do that. I mean, they're not going to go out there and they're not going to say that, but I've had some conversations that were along those lines. I mean, no coach wants to see a kid leave after they turn him into a really good player, but that's just kind of, that's the situation we're in. You got to look out for yourself. Sure. So fit to me, fit, not level, fit. Like, where can you go and play your game?
That's right. I mean, because it makes so much sense. What you're saying is, like, he's a kid that, to me, it's going to take a little assertive every single night and being called upon. And, as a coach, the best thing you can have is predictability. Like, I want to be able to put down 15-7 in the book, or just in my mind, I know that's where I can get that when you start thinking of who's on your schedule or in your conference or whatever. So I agree 100%, because the worst thing that can happen and goes back to sitting or waiting. You want to go somewhere where you can get on the court and keep improving more than anything.
And what I also tell kids is, when you go to college, your goal isn't necessarily to get on the floor right away, although that's probably your easiest way to stay away from being recruited over. There's nothing worse than you're a freshman and they're like, oh yeah, we got a recruit coming in this weekend. Oh yeah. Who's this kid? Another point guard. Like, that's kind of a shot across the bow. So
that's right.
I mean, certain needs, every situation is different, but you don't want to get recruited over, because if you get recruited over, that means they've moved on from you in their mind. Exactly. And that's exactly right. That's the worst case. I'd tell a kid to pack up and call me and we'll try to find you someplace. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think Jashawnn, to me, right now, his biggest thing, and I think you'd probably agree with this, is just consistency. Is just being consistent, game to game, day to day. The talent is there, but that's a problem that all players, all young kids, especially all people, right? I mean, I know I have that problem. I try to be more consistent but that's just kind of where we're at.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on. And he's a great player. D2 NAIA. I would say mid D2 NAIA. I mean, just needs a fit.
Yeah, so, I agree with that, and I think the more and more he plays, the more that will easily be defined. And depending on how he approaches his body development, because he's a really young senior as well. He's 17. I think he won't be 18 until April or May. So, I'm not ruling out a prep year. I think a lot of it just depends on how we see him develop over the next couple of months through the season, and being kind of thrust into this role, as a senior. It's all about how you adjust to it. But typically when a kid's work individually begins to get consistent, their game gets way more consistent. So
Well, confidence. I think confidence plays into that too.
that's right.
You're trying to figure out what they're going to bring every night, right? And they're trying to figure out this. They're like, what am I going to, I tell kids, what do you do great? Like be elite at whatever it is that you do great.
Yeah. Yeah. Use your superpower, man.
So,
for sure.
All right. Let's move along here. I want to talk, we're going to come back to Aaron Humphrey here in a second.
Okay.
But I want to bring up Jayden Pinkston, sophomore, 6'4", and I want to introduce him by kind of sharing a little bit of our conversation we had over the summer. You told me this summer that you felt like he was a high major player, a high major athlete who had the potential to be a high major player. You said, Nick, watch this. I'll be honest, I didn't see it this fall. He wasn't, it was at prep ball stars. So it was a little out of his, I saw the athlete, but I saw a kid that was still learning. And I still saw that, I feel like, in the Noblesville game. But he's absolutely went off, Coach. What is he? Is he averaging 18?
Yeah, he's about 18 and a half. And
talk about Jayden.
7 rebounds. And, honestly, just because I've seen so many kids over the years and, from obviously Gary Harris, when he was a 5th, 6th grader all the way up till now, and Eric and Aaron. And from an athlete perspective, to be 15 years old, I don't know if I've seen another athlete as long and like instinctive as this kid. I really don't. And I just think defensively, you could start there, what he could be, whether that's in the Big Ten, the ACC. He could do a lot of things in terms of guarding 1, 2, or 3 in those leagues. And I 100% believe that. He is a 2-sport kid, so he plays football. He didn't work out with us a lot in the fall, and even in the summer during, kind of the height of the pandemic, he didn't play a lot. And so, I think some guys may have kind of moved past him in terms of just visibility and skill development and things like that. But
makes sense. He was rusty this fall. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he's in the gym every day now, and like the confidence is coming. And again, he's young to be a sophomore, but what he's able to do and his motor, I would put him up against any sophomore in the region, not just the state. But, this kid has an opportunity to be very special.
Yeah, he's getting ready to get a bump in the Bomb Hoops player rankings. I just don't know where to – and here's the thing about 2023. It's wide open. Yeah. There's Jalen's at the top, but there's nobody that's really, and Williamson's up there. But there's nobody that's really grabbed the, in the top 5 and just said – it's mine. So, we're paying attention really close to him. Who are you hearing from on him?
Actually, just heard from Michigan State on Saturday.
Decent.
Oh yeah. Ohio State, IU. I've talked with Archie Miller a few times about him, and we've texted. And Missouri is another one, and IUPUI. Mid-major, Ball State. But I think he's really got a chance, and I think he'll go. We'll still advise him to go where it's the best fit. But, if he continues to just improve, marginally from where he's at now, he ought to be a kid that should play high major basketball.
Shooting guard, small forward?
Shooting guard. But, by the time we're done, with his development, or, at least where because, he's playing on the ball some now. He's playing off the ball. But he can cover up so much, in high school basketball with what he can do, guarding any position, coming from the weak side to block shots. He's pretty versatile from a high school standpoint. But I think ultimately you'll see him, with his focus and development, you'll see him be a shooting guard.
All right, so his classmate, Billy Brown, 5'11", shooting guard, who's got about a growth spurt. We kind of talked about that. We kind of agree that he's got a growth spurt ahead of him. But there's no freshman that made more threes last year in IHSA basketball than Tindley's Billy Brown. So, talk a little bit about that the shooting guard that you got there.
Absolutely. Yeah, Billy is a kid. He's had it kind of bad from Coach Omar the start of the season, and he
Means
just
you love him.
he's heard a lot of barking from me about playing point guard. We had a point guard last year, so Billy could kind of play off the ball a lot more and really just focus. And that was good as a freshman. He could just focus on trying to make shots and didn't have to guard the other point guard and that sort of thing. And this year he's been thrust into running a team and talking and being more vocal and, getting in his teammates' chest sometimes and making sure they're where they need to be, and then guarding the other opposing point guard. And so that's always the toughest position in most cases to play. And, when he's grown up more as a scoring guard, but he told me what he wants in terms of his goals. And so I'm going to try to hold him to that. I'm going to try to force him to learn it. And I have to bench him at times and all of that. But at the same time, I mean, the kid is coming back. He's showing that resilience. And he just put together a great game for us against Brebeuf in a big win on Friday night. So I can see that the message is actually coming through. So that's a good thing.
Coaching is beautiful. And well,
Yeah.
Here's, if Billy's listening, here's a trick to deal with Coach. Ask questions. Be a sponge. It's so easy to say, man, I really want to rip this kid's head off for that, but here he is coming over asking, Coach, ask questions. Be a sponge. Being a point guard is incredibly difficult. People don't understand. They think, oh, you bring the ball off the floor. That's what the point guard does. It's like a quarterback that you have no time to set up. You have no huddle. You switch to defense and you got to play it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, it's and we're seeing that right now with Christian Lander at IU. I mean,
Sure.
I told people, relax. He should be a senior in high school, and you're asking him to be a Big Ten point guard in this Big Ten.
Right.
Stop it.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. No, I was just gonna say you're absolutely right. We're 7 games in, and I'm seeing some of the growth. And it's funny you say about asking questions. And he literally just texted me last week and just said, Coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes I don't know what to say to these guys. And he asked me, can you tell me what to say?
That's awesome.
And so, it makes you back up as a coach and be like, okay, let's just talk and let's teach. And I gave him some different things to kind of start with before, they begin to be organic in himself. And so I think he's trying to do that now. And so just, his willingness to learn and be a sponge and take it, and don't just listen to, I'm barking at you and just listen to the message. Try to focus on the message, not the delivery per se. But I think he's gonna pull through, and he'll become a good point guard for us.
He's gonna be a fun kid to watch. All right.
Yeah.
Billy Brown, sophomore, can shoot it, and coach is teaching him how to run the point. All right.
Absolutely.
We held off here. Aaron Humphrey. He's a kid, man. I don't even know where to start with him. Level is very undecided. Again, fit for him because, he's a kid that you kind of look at and think, man, this kid could play professionally one day. And he needs to get his numbers, to be able to go to Europe or the NBA, whatever. But to be able to play professionally, I mean, Dante Allen sitting on the bench at Kentucky is not going to turn any heads in Yugoslavia,
right?
Or right. Spain.
Sure.
But a kid at USI, he could find himself playing basketball for a lot of money for a few years. So
I agree.
That's what I see with Humphrey. I mean, I know he was mad because I had said maybe he was a Division II coaches need to look out, right? And yep. I know that's fine. I like that.
Yeah.
But again, it's a different world, and 2022 kids might even be hurt worse than the 2021 kids. So just finding a fit in a relationship where they will love you. Where is there somebody that loves you that you can love back?
That's right.
Because that's how you're going to get your numbers. That's how you're going to get on the floor. So Talk a little bit about him. He's a kid that he's almost got a double-double right now, which is one of those things that really catches my eye. I don't care about 1,000-point scores. I don't care about 40-point games. I care a heck of a lot about fundamentals, and I care a lot about double-doubles. So talk about Mr. Double-Double for you.
Okay, absolutely. Aaron is a kid that I would say first that his life is truly like lined up in parallel. And I mean, like, the focus that this kid has right now is incredible. And I mean, from the classroom, I want to say over a 3.6, 3.7 GPA.
Wow.
He's changed his body. When you look at what he was, even as a sophomore, definitely as a freshman, I want to say he's lost 25, 30 pounds in weight. He's lean. He's way more athletic. And so it's kind of like when someone changes one thing and then they change another thing, and all of it's beginning to line up. And so what he's able to do, what I see is the kid can score at all three levels. He's shooting, I want to say 60%. He's 5 of 8 from the 3-point line in the 7 games that we've played.
Coach, get him some more shots.
I know. And I mean, he's probably only averaging 11, 12 shots a game, but he hit in our last game against Brebeuf. I want to say he was 7 for 8 at the line. The game before that, 6 for 6. So I just see the focus and attention that he's placing really in each area of his life. And it's all about him setting himself up and controlling the controllables, because you're right. I remember when he told me he was mad that this Bomb Hoops company rated him as a D2 player, right? But I said, hey, man, all you can control is the controllables, which is your productivity. And I promise you that there is a school out there that they're not going to be able to argue with your production, period. And so that's kind of what he's done. And I'm proud of, how he's played. He's had one bad game that I ripped him and got so mad at him, I didn't start him the next game. So I probably overreacted, but hey, that's what I do sometime. But, he's responded back with 20 and 10 that next game off the bench, and had a big 22-9 performance for us against Brebeuf, against some quality forwards. And so I'm very proud of him and his development and his focus.
He's mad at me? At me? Like, so look, I'm just going to tell you, all right? I say this all the time. If I am the reason that you become a great basketball player, you make money playing basketball and like whatever, if you become better because of something I said or a rank, I'll wear that.
That's right.
I'm not here.
You would say thanks.
just like you. One day he will look back on being coached hard.
Yep.
Because coach believes in him, believes in what he can be. He'll look back on that and give you a hug. I'm not expecting a hug from Aaron, but I'm on your side, dude.
Right.
I think you're a great player.
Exactly.
But again, it's kids don't understand, and I get it. They're 16, 17, 18 years old. I get it. You have a hard time seeing like 20. Oh my gosh, I won't be 20 forever. Like, dude, you're going to be 20. Like, but as an old person, I'm telling you this right now. You focus on you do the best you can do wherever you end up. Coach is going to put you in a good position, and you're going to be successful. Get your numbers. Get your numbers. Get your wins. Get your stats. Get your recommendation from the coach. Get your degree. I mean, let's not forget that's why while they're in it. What's he want to do? 3.6, man, that's a smart kid.
I don't know. I'm not really sure yet. I know he wants to be around sports. So I think, he's mentioned, sports management or marketing, something like that. But he's a very inquisitive kid. I will say that, which is always a good thing. He's a good communicator, very, very respectful, raised well, great parents. So I definitely think the sky's the limit for the kid if he wants to stay in the sports world, whether that's, after basketball or if he wants to do something else. He ought to be very, very successful with whatever he does.
Yeah, and I was talking to CJ Gunn about this.
Great kid.
Yeah, he wants to do the same thing. I said, well, what do you want to be? Oh, I don't know. I mean, Well, start like you want to be the GM of the Pacers, like start setting yourself up for that when you go to college. When you go to schools and stuff, and you say, "How can you help me be the GM of the Pacers?" What would Archie Miller or John Brannon do if he asked you that? He'd fall out of their chair, like, "Dude, I'm gonna put you in the NBA." No, like I want to be the GM. Like, if have a plan, right? As coaches, you don't just show up like, "Oh, hey man, we play Cathedral or we play Tech." No, have a plan going in. He's gonna be a successful kid. I want to meet up with him. Extend an olive branch to him, maybe he'll talk to me. Maybe he won't, Coach. I don't know.
Absolutely.
All right. I know. He's a good dude. But I believe in him, and that's something people say, "Oh, I'm ranked 40. Look, I'm going to tell you, here's the lowdown on the rankings. They're pretty accurate, my in-state rank, pretty accurate, but they're not exactly scientifically correct. They're in tiers because look, if 16 Division I head coaches say he's a D2 player, doesn't really matter what you or I think. He's a D2 player, right? And so, it shakes out. And I got eyes on you, Aaron Humphrey.
I like that.
Another kid that hey, 2022 is a weird class.
Yeah.
There's not anybody that, I think I have him around 30, low 30s right now. And I think that's going to go up. Again, he's got an opportunity. Rankings don't, because the coaches are going through them anyways. Mm-hmm. Wow, you had, Aaron Humphrey 31st. Like, you think that's low, Coach? So that's how it works. I mean, it's not just me over here making up stuff. But anyway, we love Tindley. We rock with y'all at Bomb Hoops. It's just me.
I appreciate it. Well, and let me just say, man, that's good motivation that I can use a lot of times for the guys as well. I mean, if you don't like where you rank, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it?
Pick up full court.
Yeah, let that be.
How many kids pick up full court?
Not many.
Sit down.
That's right.
Like, oh, man. So
exactly right.
But we're watching. I'm like I said, I'm a big Tindley fan. Large. I can get into a large.
I got you.
All right, my man.
Well, I got you, and I appreciate you covering us and all of our guys. I mean, we do work hard over there to try to be a good basketball program, but at the same time to go play. We've got LN coming up, so the schedule doesn't get any.
Who's that?
Easier, right? So
I expect to win, man. That's my. Now Chris Gunn's gonna be Chris. I'm gonna have Chris Gunn on my phone. Chris, it's just a little politics here.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
But no, we really do.
Take it easy on us, man, because
I think. Well, hey, you got talent, Coach. You just got him telling me all this talent you had. No, you go in there. You're going to compete. It'll be a good game.
We certainly hope so.
No, I really do. I told you this. I'm not blowing any smoke at you. I really think Indianapolis Tindley is an up and coming program. In Indianapolis, just as far as you establishing your mark on the whole thing, Damon Turner at Tech, I know that's your buddy. My buddy, and he's doing a great job there. But you got it rolling there, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well.
Before I let you get out of here, who are some teams or who are some players maybe that you've kind of been impressed by? Like, wow, like those guys when you watch a game.
I would say Leland over at North Central, man. He's been tough, and I mean that's from the summer right into the high school season.
He had a great summer.
Really, really good player, really talented. Just doesn't look like he's working that hard, and then he just burst off on you, and he's gone dunking and gets through people. And so I would say Leland. Trying to think. Obviously, CJ is just so smooth. He just looks so natural at the shooting guard position, and he can sit down and guard. And so he's definitely one of my favorites that I've watched. And Shamar, and they've got some tough kids over there, both those guys. And I would say they would be probably the ones that stick out the most right now. But Carmel, obviously, you can't argue with what they're doing. They're efficient. They've got really good players. And, when kids are not invested in trying to get 30 every night and they're just playing, the Pete Suter kid, he's really talented. But, I mean, he may have 9 points in the game or 4 points and it just
if they were playing somewhere else, they could average 20. I'd say that about Brian Waddell. I mean, Brian Waddell,
absolutely
6'7" athlete. I mean, underrated athlete who can stroke it. Like, how many would he have if he was out, somewhere where he could kind of have his own show? But
definitely. So just, they're going to be tough to beat just because they seem to be just playing for each other, playing for the win. And so they're going to be a tough team to beat as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of, I don't know if you call it criticism, but there's definitely people out there that will say Carmel's a system, right? It's a system program. Well, they buy in, they play together as a team. Nobody cares who wins. I mean, they're just always at the top. So Coach Osborne should write a book.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your book that you were working on. You guys got practice later on today?
We do. We've got it at 3:00 today. So
who's your hardest worker before I let you get out of here? Who's your hardest worker?
Oh, wow, man. It's a toss up between Jayden Pinkston and probably Aaron Humphrey right now.
Okay. Well, there you go. You got practice later this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm week to week, day to day.
Another opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But I would say those two, it'd be a toss-up right now.
That's important to me because, so many times I see teams, and I love asking coaches that, you see their best player, it's number 12, whatever, Smith. So coach, man, who's your best, who's your hardest worker? Jones.
Yep.
Good luck, Coach. All right. Well, I'm going to let you get out of here, get ready for practice. Thanks so much.
Yep. Nick,
you are always so good to me.
To cover all these high school kids. I want to see them all do great and move on and be highly successful people in life. But thank you for what you do to kind of lift them up and help bring attention with these college coaches.
Hey, it's a symbiotic relationship, my man. So I appreciate you guys. And hopefully we get up there soon, man. We got a bunch of people we're going to have breakfast with or something, So.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, Coach. That is
happy holidays. Take care.
Indianapolis Tindley head coach Omar Dillard in his second year. They will be in action this weekend, Lawrence North. I'll be back on the CoachSpeak podcast. I'm Nick Baumgart for bombhoops.com. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
You're the man. That was really good. All right, I'll get a hold of you.